Okay, stop. Before you dislike this video, just hear me out for 5 seconds. You are not going to hear anything positive about Jack Doherty throughout this entire video. Jack Doherty has absolutely no redeeming qualities, and I am not speaking out in defense of him. He's literally everything that's wrong with YouTubers. He embodies every single classic negative trait of a douchebag influencer, scamming and neglecting his fans, taking advantage of women, encouraging physical violence, clickbait, promoting gambling, etc. Jack Doherty is a terrible human being, so the point of this video isn't to defend him, it's more to reveal Moistcr1tikal dishonesty and massive lack of transparency when talking about his relationship to Jack Doherty, because Moistcr1tikal used to actually manage and work on Jack Doherty's channel in 2019 and 2020, but now he's saying to his millions of fans that he only happened to meet him once by pure coincidence, and that is a massive lie, and I do feel like it needs to be pointed out. So let's not waste any time here and get straight into it. Now, Jack Doherty has been widely seen as the most insufferable YouTuber around throughout the past like 1.5 years, and Moistcr1tikal made a total of 3 videos making fun of him, and these are entertaining videos, there's nothing wrong with them, but in the first video something that Charlie said bothered me massively.
I actually know Jack Doherty in real life. In fact, he was in one of my videos 4 years ago. I'm using "know" really loosely. I met him one time 4 years ago when the local Tampa Police Department challenged me to complete their police academy. This was during the time where I was watching live PD and talking about police activity, making jokes about it. They invited me out there to try it myself. Well, Jack Doherty actually happened to be there on that same day.
And I don't know if I'm just a huge sociopath or something, because apparently no one of the 7.5 million people that watched the video questioned what Charlie said here, but this is exactly the type of shit that keeps me up at night. What do you mean Jack Doherty, quote, just happened to be there? Why would Jack Doherty, out of all people, be there? Let me put this into context for you. Charlie claims his local police department invited him over there to complete their training course for a video because he referenced police activity in some of his older videos, and that's believable, but why would they invite Jack Doherty as well? Jack Doherty at the time was a literal child making school prank videos. What possible reason would the police department have to invite him to complete their training course alongside Moistcr1tikal? Like, these were two creators who didn't have a single thing in common. It's also worth noting that Jack Doherty lived in New York at the time, so Moistcr1tikal's local police department inviting him to fly from New York all the way to Florida and him just obliging just to take part in this training course is massively confusing me. So I decided to further investigate the original upload to see if I could figure out what's actually going on here, and I realized that Jack and Charlie weren't the only YouTubers present that day. Huckbees, friend of Moistcr1tikal and co-host of the official podcast, also happened to be there. Family-friendly challenge YouTubers, the Ireland Boys, were also present, as well as Super Spicy Matt, who's most known for being Charlie's manager, and Matt wasn't there to like just film the video. Charlie had another person there to record, so even Matt was actively participating in the course. So these are all the people taking part in the course, and there's obviously a connection between these 3 here and the other 2 channels, but inviting such opposing groups of people to this event is just extremely strange. Like, what was the head of police smoking while drafting the invites? And what's even weirder is that Jack's video of that day is still up on the Island Boys channel, and there seems to not only be no animosity between the 2 groups, but also, as a matter of fact, everyone's really friendly to each other, almost like they already know each other well. This was doing my head in, because for the life of me I could not figure out what's going on here, but then suddenly I realized what's happening by watching the intro of the next creator event Moistcr1tikal participated in.
This was put on by a company called HMG, Human Media Group. It's a company I'm a part of. I want to get that out there right now so that way people don't think that I'm hiding anything.
So this is in reference to a YouTuber go-karting race Charlie took part in, and he's now open about it having been organized by Human Media Group, a company Charlie co-founded together with his manager and longtime friend Matt. He went into detail about this company in another video from a couple of years ago. Essentially, they manage YouTubers, they help them with their content, brand deals, and copyright issues. Now, the funny thing about this go-karting race is that once again, Jack Doherty ended up being there. At first, I was unsure whether that guy driving here is actually Jack Doherty, because there's a lot of people called Jack on YouTube, but sure sure enough, Jack Doherty's perspective is still online to this day, and you can see that's actually him driving in front of Charlie there. And there's also this end of the race scoreboard where you can clearly see both names. Moreover, on his vlog, you can literally see him driving to the event once again with the Ireland boys, and they're all wearing Human Media Group promotional t-shirts. That's cause they're all signed to Human Media Group. They're all managed by Moistcr1tikal and Matt, which is why they got invited to his go-karting event, which by the way already shows that Charlie lied about only meeting Jack once in this clip.
I'm using no really loosely. I met him one time.
Cause there's at least 2 examples of them going to events together still online on both of their channels. But more importantly, it puts everything into context. Here's a screenshot of the Human Media Group website a couple of years ago that I got from the Wayback Machine. Here you can clearly see that they had 6 creators in 2019, the same year this police event took place. Now on a snapshot from 2020, you can actually see that Jack Doherty was in fact signed to the company. Matt and Charlie founded the company, Huckbees is still with the company to this day, and the Ireland boys were also signed to the company in 2019. Plus, from another Wayback Machine snapshot, we can see that they count the official podcast co-hosted by Charlie and Huckbees amongst others as a separate creator. Therefore, all the people at this police training course were the 6 creators involved with Human Media Group at the time, meaning this wasn't even an event put on by the local police department. No, this was the first Human Media Group organized event, because you could even see them advertising successful creator events on their website at the time. Now, why is this important? Well, in my opinion, it does show a clear lack of transparency and outright dishonesty from Critical. I mean, if he just talked about Jack Doherty's content negatively on his channel and never mentioned his personal experience, there would still of course be a lack of transparency, but it wouldn't necessarily be dishonest. But Charlie outright stated that he met Jack Doherty just once, and that one interaction was already enough for him to know that he's a bad guy, when in reality Jack Doherty was signed to Charlie's company between at the very least the middle of 2019 until the end of 2020. He actively promoted the company, and it's highly likely they interacted with each other on like a weekly basis. Plus again, Charlie lied about meeting him once by pure coincidence, cause he literally organized the whole event himself and invited Jack Doherty to come fly out from New York to Florida. They must have known each other pretty damn well if Jack was just willing to fly across the country for him, meaning that there is a clear dishonesty about their previous relationship from Moistcr1tikal. Now, I want to make it very clear that I don't think Charlie necessarily did a lot wrong by managing and helping out Jack Doherty, since in this video Charlie did state that the main goal of Human Media Group was to help out creators with sponsors and copyright, because he did see a lot of them just get scammed and screwed over by either YouTube themselves or predatory companies. And I do believe him there 100%, and I do think that the real story of what actually happened here is that when Charlie started out his company and saw Jack Doherty, who for context would have only been 15 at the time, blowing up on YouTube, he probably reached out to him to sign him because he thought this kid is probably getting screwed over by advertisers because he doesn't know what he's doing. So he was then brought into the company as one of the very first creators, but when they invited him out to these events, he probably actually acted like an obnoxious idiot, which threw everyone off. But they decided to still have him part of the company because they probably thought he would just grow out of it, since he again was just a kid. But then throughout the next couple of events, and probably even just through the basic action of actively managing Jack, they eventually realized that he's a terrible person and parted ways with him sometime in 2021, because the snapshots from 2020 are the last ones where he's a part of the company. That's my assumption of how everything actually went down. Therefore, I don't think there's too much wrongdoing here. I mean, sure, you could make the argument that Jack Doherty was already widely hated even back then, therefore hooking him up with sponsor deals, YouTuber connections, and generally managing and helping him out with his channel was an immoral and irresponsible act by Charlie and Matt, and I do understand why some people would think that. However, again, this guy was just 15, an actual child. Therefore, I think it makes much more sense to think of Charlie helping as an attempt to get him on the right path, because I just genuinely don't believe that Critical would actually try to like make money through like getting a terrible channel to blow up on purpose. I think it's much more likely that he tried to guide him away from becoming an awful YouTuber, but I guess that depends on how you view Charlie as a person. Overall, I don't believe that Critical necessarily played a huge role in the rise of Jack Doherty, because he probably would have turned out the exact same way regardless of Charlie's involvement. I mean, he did grow from 2 million to 3 million subs during his time being managed by Charlie and Matt, but the bulk of his growth came way after that, so I don't blame Critical for how Jack Doherty turned out. But I do just honestly believe there's a massive lack of transparency here, especially since I consider Critical to be like one of the realest YouTubers out out there. But what I don't understand is why Charlie lied about this in the first place, because he lied about randomly meeting Jack Doherty, he lied about not knowing Jack Doherty, and he lied about only interacting with him in person once. All of these are things he didn't have to lie about, he could have just never even brought them up in the first place, but outright twisting what happened makes it look so much worse. Because again, if this guy was actively promoting and signed to your company, wearing your company merch, then you definitely knew him at least a little bit. Now you could go full conspiracy brain here and make up a theory that maybe Charlie taught him how to manage OnlyFans girls at his company, and now he feels guilty and wants to hide it from everyone, and that's probably how like a disingenuous person would conclude this video. But I think Charlie is most likely just embarrassed he actually signed this guy at one point and therefore didn't want to admit to it, because there is a real good chance that Charlie's company paid for Jack Doherty to fly out to Florida to participate in all these events. And not gonna lie, if I had to admit to giving Jack Doherty money, I'd probably shoot myself in the face. So I understand why he lied, but it's still a shame that he did, because I would have preferred the honesty of just being like, yeah, I signed this guy when he was just a kid starting out. And through interacting with him, I realized what an asshole he was, and we eventually parted ways a year later. I don't think people would look at Charlie negatively if he were to just admit to all of this, because again, I don't believe he's to blame for the actual rise of Jack Doherty, so I do hope Charlie comes clean about this. But let's be honest, he probably won't, he's never gonna see this video, but hey, if you want him to, you could push this video by liking and subscribing to my channel, if you enjoyed of course, and you could write your opinion down below in the comments. Anyway, I will see you in the next one.